I finally figured out how to cut using my new Silhouette Cameo Pro 4. I want to show you so that way you're not frustrated when you try to cut your fabric using the Cameo. Hi, I'm Angie with Gen X Quilter, and today I want to go over using the Silhouette Cameo Pro, Silhouette Cameo 4 Pro to cut fabric. And actually you can do this on any Silhouette Cameo 4. I just happen to have the Pro, but you can use the 12-inch one as well. Mine's 24-inch, like I said last week. And but you can use the 12-inch one as well. It's the same program. What you will use the Silhouette Design Studio, and I will show you on my computer how I set that up. Now I do want to say that it's a little different than because what I had was a Silhouette Cameo 2, I believe, 1 or 2, and it was a lot different way of cutting. They've really done a lot of upgrades. So I spent yesterday trying to figure out how to actually cut the fabric, and there weren't a lot of videos. I do gotta say, there was a lot of videos where it didn't really tell me too much and didn't really give me any good examples of how to actually cut using that. So today I want to show you how to do that, so that way you don't have to do like I did and spend the whole day trying to figure it out. So I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to show you how it actually cuts the fabric. And then next week, stay tuned, because I'm going to show you, hopefully I'll have all my fabric cut up and we'll sew it together. So I'll show you that next week. This week I just want to show you the settings on how to cut the fabric. What I did now is, and I had told you exactly what I wanted to use as far as my pattern goes. So I'm going to cut, and I can't really give you the exact dimensions on the strips that I cut, but I'm going to cut out several of these kind of strips. I'm probably going to do one strip at a time, so several of these, and then these are just little squares. I'll cut those out, several of these, some light, some dark, and it says in the pattern what I need to use. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Like I said, I'll probably use, this is my 24 by 24 inch mat, so I'll probably just put my my fabric on the mat and just have them cut out several at one time, and that's how I'm going to cut my strips. This is actually a strip set for one block, so I believe there's 156 blocks, something like that, that I need to do, but this is going to make it so much easier. I'm just going to cut, like I said, I'm going to duplicate this one and cut several of those out at one time, and then do the same thing with the others. So I'm going to do that now. So I have my fabric pieces all that I need cut, all entered into my silhouette. I'm actually going to do more than this, but for this video purposes, I'm just going to do just this one area. So I made them black so that way you can see them better. But I have my grid lines, and I have my design area set up to be my Cameo 4 Pro. I have a Curio and a regular Cameo, so those are there too if I need to, if I want to change that. And I have my 24 by 24 inch mat. That's what it's showing on the design board here. And my media size is 24 by 24, so that's the size of mat that I'm using. And you can see by this is kind of a little diagram of a mat behind it. So it automatically, when I switch that to 24 by 24, it switches the width to 24 and the height to 24. That's about the only things that I change if it's not set up like that. I do like to keep my grid lines on, so you could do that by going to this other tab here where it says grid settings, and you can get to this by, I believe, somewhere up here, but I normally just go to your right hand side. I'm in the business edition of the Design Studio, and you can, on the right hand side, I believe it's on all editions, but on the right hand side there's all these things that you could do with it. On the regular ones, I don't think there's as many, but I believe this is on all of them, the page setup panel. So you just click on that and it opens up, and that's where I'm finding this. So the grid lines I like to keep on just because I like to count the boxes and see where I need to place things. In case I have kind of a weird type of fabric, then I know where to place them to where they'll actually cut. Here's where you show grid and where you can turn that off. Show guides, you can turn that on and off. I usually just, if I'm going to mess with anything, I'll just mess with the show grids. Nothing else down here that I really mess with. It's defaulted for the spacing to be, all these blocks are 1 inch. I leave them like that because that's how I like, that's what the mat is. It shows a 1 inch, and that's how I like to count my, where I want to place my fabric. So I've got all of that where I need to set it. And I've got my fabric, as you can see, on the mat, and I loaded it onto my Cameo Pro. I'm going to go ahead and send it. So I would send it up here. You just click send. And these are the blocks that I'm going to cut. There's just like this is for 1 block, and there's some more over here, but I'm going to do these in a lighter color. So that's the reason why they're over there. I want these all to be in the same. So I have, for the fabric, what you need to use is the carriage 2. So you don't need the carriage 1. That's just for like an auto blade, things that you're not going to cut with fabric or thicker material other than paper. So I'm going to just toggle that to make that go up. And if you see my carriage 1, I had fabric thick. I was messing with this yesterday, and I wasn't for sure how to get that carriage 2 to move because it would only move carriage 1. I thought, oh no, I have a bad machine. I need to take it back. But I figured it out last night, so I thought I would show you this week in this video, so you don't have to Google it everywhere trying to figure it out. So what you do is you want to have these blue lines show up here. Right now it's the red lines. The red lines will go to carriage 1. So you don't want the red lines. The red lines will only do carriage 1. We want carriage 2 because that's where the rotary blade is. And I will show you the rotary blade in a minute because it's different than the regular blade. So what you want to do, see that the Silhouette has detected to rotary blade. I'm going to set my fabric or my cut material to fabric cotton thin because I don't need a thick canvas. We don't need it to cut into the mat or anything. So I'm going to go to thin cotton print, and it changes the force and speed. I want it set it to rotary cut. I'll show you. See, it has auto because there you could do a craft cut and a rotary cut. There's a craft cut blade that I don't have one of those, but that's for like felt. Trying to think any heavy, like I think you could do that balsam wood, that thin wood material that's really soft. But I only have a rotary cut, so that's what I put in my carriage, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute too. But in order to get this to turn blue, your all your shapes, you could either click one at a time. So this one, you probably can't see that, but it's outlined with a little black outline. And when you click on it, see, let me uncheck it. If it'll let do it. I unchecked anywhere. Once I uncheck it, you can't click on any of these where it says rotary cut or rotary cut edge, no to rotary cut. It won't let you do it. So I'm going to click on it again. There's a little black square or rectangle around it. Now it will let me choose rotary cut or rotary cut edge. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just a rotary cut edge. We'll do rotary cut. Okay. So if you notice that it has a little circles around here, the reason for that is it's not like a regular cutting where it turns. The rotary cut is actually a little tiny rotary cutter, and I'll show you that in a minute. So where it'll go along this edge, cut, 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 and then it has to go kind of a little loop in order to get this edge. Same thing, has to go in a little loop, and then it'll get this edge. And that's why there's little loops right here. So in order to get to where you want to cut all of them like that, you just kind of press down and make a little box, drag it, make a box. Now all of them have the little rectangle, the little black rectangle around it. You would click rotary cut, or whichever one you wanted to do, the rotary cut edge or rotary cut. The rotary cut edge is if you have several little and this doesn't have that in here, but if you have several little cuts in the middle, you could click rotary cut and it'll get those little cuts in the middle. But if you just click rotary cut edge, it won't get the middle. It would just do the outside. So that's what the difference is. On this one, I don't have anything in the middle to cut, so I'm just going to click rotary cut. Either way would work whenever you don't have anything in the middle to cut. My force is set to 13. For the rotary cutter, you don't change your force in on the Silhouette Cameo. It'll just stay one force. The Studio Design will set it to where what you want the force to be. Okay. So say if your blade is getting a little bit getting worn out and you need to, before you sharpen it, which I'll do another video on that, then you can always change this force to higher as your blade kind of wears out a little bit. So you can also do several passes. So if it doesn't cut right the first time, don't take it out of the Cameo, just do another pass. So you can set it to 2, 3, whatever. There's also a more button. And this will give you different kind of material that's not on that drop down. You can change it to rotary cut or craft cut. You can just change all your information there. Disable smart cut. Those are I believe those are the little loops. You want to have that with the rotary cutter. It won't cut very well. It won't cut correctly anyway. I'm going to X that out. And before I send it, I'm going to show you what the rotary cut carriage looks like. So this is the blade. It's a rotary blade. Notice it has the number 2 on it. That means it goes into the second carriage there. Okay, so whenever you get the blade, it will come it'll come twisted like this. And the reason why it does that, sorry, my camera is going in and out, is so it'll be safe and you don't have that blade exposed. So I'm going to twist it back in. Okay. If you noticed, if you see that little blade, it's exposed now. And it's a little different from your regular blades. If you notice, go back a little bit. Kind of a little tiny miniature rotary blade. So that's why it makes those extra loops around. So that way it will make sure to catch all of the fabric. So what I do is, you want to make sure this one with the metal on it, the flat end, is going to the back. And whenever I load it in, I hold this up with my finger and I push down, and then you have to lock it in by pushing that over. There's a tiny little green dot on the top of it, and you'll know if it's like halfway. If you only see the green halfway, it's not locked in properly. You have to make sure the whole circle shows the green. So that's that. And I'm going to go ahead and go back to my Cameo and start the cutting process. So now that I know I have my rotary blade in there correctly, and I have all my blue lines showing, make sure you have your blue lines, then I'm going to go down and hit send. And what this does is this cuts along those blue lines. And it'll say, this is what I always say, just a reminder, you can always do this don't show this again. I'm going to go ahead and click this because I don't want it to show every time that I try to cut something. You click next. It'll show you exactly how to load the media. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off where it says don't show this again, and then hit send. So now it sends every time I just hit send. Now this is kind of loud, and that's normal. So don't think that you got a bad one just because it's loud. My old one was loud too. It's just normal. Okay, now that it's done, go ahead and move this over. I'm going to click this arrow down here and it will release it. So let's go ahead and take this off. Look how smooth. Sometimes whenever you do this, it has these little thing, it grabs stuff on there that needs to have a little snip. It has little threads. So I have these cut, and then 4 of these. That's what I wanted to be cut this time. And I will go ahead and make my other cuts. If you're wondering what fabric I'm using, it is called Stonehenge Surfaces by Northcott Fabric. So I have several of these to make. I believe I have 150 blocks to make. So I'll go ahead and get started with that. And next week I will show you how I'm sewing them together. Alright, so yeah, it wasn't as difficult as what I thought yesterday. So hopefully I explained it to where it wasn't as difficult for you as well. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions, anything else you want me to show you on that software. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of cutting up and sewing the project and using the Silhouette Cameo. And like I said, let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. And thanks for watching. Bye.